morning, guys. Tim Hahn here, bright and early. I got a few hours before work, so we're gonna go try to catch a fish and teach you something. Let's go. There we go. Good morning, Tim Hahn Fishing family and newcomers. I woke up with a mission this morning. I want to teach you guys a little something. You know, ideally, we would get out on the water, we'd fish for 4 to 8 hours, we'd break it down, we'd read the contour lines on our expensive Panoptix graph, we'd throw one of our 12 combos, have every bait we could possibly imagine for any scenario tied on, and we'd catch 4 or 5 pounders, set a limit, break a record, and catch that guy, whatever that was. Holy moly. But no, that's not real life. Real life is you might have a couple of hours before or after work to go catch a fish. I'm going to try to teach you guys how you can break down a spot with a limited amount of time and put at least one fish on the bank to make your day just that little bit better. If you enjoy this kind of content, good. I want to do more of it. Consider getting subscribed, like the video if you want to see more like it, and leave me a comment if you found something particularly interesting or you have a tip for people fishing on a time limit as well. Let's not waste any time. Let's go catch some fish. Alright, so I didn't bring a whole lot with me. You might notice that right off the bat. I've got 3 rods, one heavy, one medium heavy, and one cranking rod. And I've got what I would call my essentials. This is a small collection of my confidence baits. If you know about the body of water you're trying to break down, this is your confidence baits for this body of water. You're not out here to try new baits. Bring what you know. I know that I hear things making noise out here in the water already. I see a little bit of life, so I'm going to start with a moving bait and I'm going to try to cover some water. Today is unseasonably warm already, so I know these rocks are probably warmer than most of the surrounding structure and cover. So I'm going to try to work this bank up and down with a moving bait, and only if we don't get bit will we consider changing to a slower presentation. Typically, I would throw a bait that I'm very comfortable with here. A red lipless crankbait, for instance. However, I've had a lot of luck with a spinnerbait lately. So we're gonna give the spinnerbait a try for a little while, see if we can't get hooked up, and if we can't, we'll switch to the bait that we have as a quote-unquote fallback for the area we're fishing. Woo. There we go. I'm not doing very much pause, go, pause, go, pause, go. I am, you know, here and there, especially if I like bump into a stick or a rock or something. But right now my main goal is just to cover water and see if we can elicit a reaction strike. Now you see I'm making fan casts, very deliberate fan casts. This works because I know in this specific area that I've caught fish in every direction I've casted from this specific point in the past in similar conditions. Now if you know, for instance, there is a laydown right here and there's some rock over here, you might want to focus on those high percentage areas. You might want to key in on a place where you know there could be fish specifically. If you're in a new spot, you're going to just fan cast it, just like I am right now. We're going to move down, cover the bank. You'll notice that I've already started on my right side, whereas up there, I started on my left. The reason for this being is that we've already covered most of this water. We've already moved this bait past any fish that are sitting right there, and they weren't interested. So we're going to maximize our time and fish fresh water. So we've already covered this much water with this bait. We've probably put it in front of several fish's faces. We can tell that if they are eating, this is not what they're keyed in on, and if they're not eating, this is not going to elicit a bite easily. So you could try another moving bait, especially if you're confident that that's what they're on, but I am not. So I am going to move to something slower, like a Texas Rig Senko, a staple on my channel and honestly most fishermen's repertoire. Now remember, when I said, do you know nothing about this body of water? Well, you should probably continue fan casting as we have. Well, what if you were throwing that spinnerbait just now and you felt yourself bump into a bunch of rock or maybe some standing timber over here, and maybe over here there's another piece? Well, again, you should focus on what you believe will be high percentage areas. We don't have all morning. We're trying to get a bite, but we're going to be methodical about it. Now, depending on your time of season and how your fish have been behaving, that's going to tell you how fast or slow you should be fishing this. You're going to incline yourself to fish slow, but not so slow that you run out of time. Oh, let's see if that was a bite. No, I believe that was just a snag. Sure did feel like a bite though. We're gonna check our line, fix our bait, make another cast. Now it's up to you. Do you fish that again or do you continue your fan cast? Me, I'm gonna continue my fan cast. Because the odds are if that was a fish, he's shy now. He doesn't know what just happened. He's a little confused. We can come back to him later if in fact that was a fish. Oh, there we go. Feels a little solid. Came up a little fast, probably too. There we go. Okay, well, it's paid off. Using the knowledge we learned, we've already caught a fish, and a solid one at that. Come on, bud. All right, I'd say it's a solid 1.5 pounder, just shy of 2 perhaps. We're not going to weigh it because we know it's not a 5, and that's the fish we want. So thank you for coming, bud. I appreciate you biting. We have been fishing for 17 minutes and we caught a fish. Maybe there's something to it. Let's find out. Now we know we just caught a fish there. This time of year, fish tend to group up. So let's cast right back. But we're not going to get stuck here. We're going to focus our other high percentage areas as well. But the odds of there being another fish there are higher than 0. So we're going to give it a shot. Oh my goodness. Was that a bite or was that... It was indeed. It was a bite. See? The odds are drastically increased that there's another fish there because of the time of year it is. Fish tend to group up when the water gets cold. And they're going to look for places that have easy food, or vegetation because it provides oxygen, or cover that tends to hold heat during the day. So if you can find those, you find places that are more likely to hold fish. I'm not saying there won't be fish everywhere else in this pond, but I'm saying we have a limited amount of time to find fish, so we're going to play hide and seek and find the easiest ones that hid the least well. Alright, we've covered our water. Let's don't get stuck in one spot. Let's keep it moving. And again, we've already covered this section of water, so we're going to start this way and work our way back. Kind of like windshield wipers, if you think about it. Set an alarm for 8:35.
8:35 a.m. Set.
One thing you can do, if you have the time, or if you're confident there are fish where you're throwing your bait, let it marinate. The last time I was here, I threw my bait out, and then I sent 2 or 3 text messages, and then when I went back to my rod, the line was tight. Really? I just casted it out and sent a text message. Come up here, test this rod. Let's get a weight on her too. And that told me I need to slow down. Though I had been fishing fairly slow before, I literally let that bait sit for a good 10-20 seconds and something decided to come pick it up. If you find that your Texas rig presentation or slow presentation didn't work, slow it down some more. You can go back to trying other moving baits if you want, but I've already caught a fish on this Texas rig, so I know at least 1 or 2 fish are going to be keyed in on it. You just gotta let them eat it. Oh. That was certainly a bite. I felt the boop boop boop. Now it could have been a bluegill trying to eat it, that's for sure. No doubt about that, but we're still gonna run those odds and throw it that way again. Cool. Now one thing I just did instinctively that I honestly didn't even think about doing, I just did it. That bite came directly out in front of me, right? But I've already fished all of that. I haven't fished this yet in a while. I can bring this back to me and have it meet where I got that last bite while still covering new water. Little things like that will increase your odds of getting bit and maximize your time. Alright, we've sufficiently covered water with this bait. We've caught 1 fish on it. Now you have a decision to make. Are you going to keep trying to force feed them this, or are you going to try something else? Your options would include another bottom presentation or another moving bait. I have a feeling these fish are active and feeding if I can just find the presentation that they are the most keyed in on. And that bait is going to be a Strike King Red Eye Lipless in the red craw color. This is one of my very favorite baits to throw here. The only problem with it is it gets lost. As a matter of fact, here, I'll show you. I keep an extra one with me at all times because I throw this thing, get it snagged up, hooked up, caught out, anywhere you could imagine. There we go. Feels solid. Maybe a 2-pounder. That's not a bad fish. Not a bad fish at all. And it inhaled it. All right. I'm so scared to pick this one up. He is just all hooks. There we go. Hey, got it out of his mouth without getting injured. That is a solid 2-pounder. We're not going to weigh it. It's 2 to 2 1/4. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, we were successful. We've caught 2 fish. We've been fishing for about 45 minutes. We got about another 30 minutes left. Let's keep fishing. Remember, I said there's probably more than 1 fish in this area. I don't think it's coincidence that we got bit on both a Texas rig and a lipless crankbait in the same area. High percentage areas. You probably hear the pros talk about it a lot, but that's what that means. An area where you think the odds of a fish are higher. It's that simple. All right, we've thoroughly covered this area. We're gonna keep it moving. So, you've covered your area with both a moving bait that works and a bottom bait that works. So what do you do now? Well, your options are this. You've caught some fish, so you can keep on doing what you're doing, going back and forth, and try to catch one more. Or, if you're satisfied with the day, what you can do is you can break out a bait that you think will work, such for me would be a jerk bait, that is not necessarily your confidence bait, but it fits the criteria of what would catch fish right now. Or, option C, you can go for a big fish. And my big fish bait is my Mike Buka Bullgill. Now I know this isn't a real swim bait, but it is a larger than average presentation. I can move it relatively slow, and I don't have to worry about it getting hung up, because I can keep it off the bottom. And I've caught big fish on it before. So let's see how we do. There it is. There's our alarm. Time to go. Well, nothing on the bullgill. That would have been epic, but it's been an hour, so we're done. I gotta get to work. You know, mission accomplished. We used a whole lot of madness and a little bit of method. 3 rods and 3 baits, and we figured out a pattern. If we had more time, we got warmer out here, these rocks warmed up, we had time to walk around a little bit more of the bank, we'd probably put a few more on the bank today, but we don't. This was all about being educational. If you found it educational, please hit that like button. I tried very hard on this one. If you enjoyed this and want to see more like it, feel free to get subscribed. And if you have an interesting tip for somebody down there, let me know in the comment box. I'll read it too, and maybe I'll put it to good use. But that's all I got for you for this one. So I need you to remember, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. God bless you. Keep on fishing, and we'll see you in the next one.